Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and it's kind of weird getting old because it's not what I expect. Like you think about getting old, it's just like gray hair and bald and like slowing down and having aches and pains. But for me, getting old is like noticing how flies act differently. Like, and the funny thing is, I'm like, oh, it might just be me, but for some reason, the flies down here, the latest crop of flies, the latest generations, they're like super aggressive. Like they bump you, like they just run it up and they just bump you in the face. It's like I don't remember flies acting like this in the 80s and 90s and 2000s. They're super aggressive now. Um, but anyway, I was really sick yesterday. Um, and so today was like my first day of like being a human. I basically slept for like 20 hours. So I was very excited to be a human and go do things and clean things out and rearrange the refrigerator. Um, and while I'm being a human and doing things, I do the usual Saturday morning routine of listen to YouTube. And man, it was not a good morning. I listened to several videos, and the only one that made me not want to jump down a well was Casually Comics. She's been covering all these like 1960s DC comics, and I'm not into that, but she's very pleasant and kind of fun. But I mean, the rest of it was just, it was rough. It was so old man. It was just a bunch, and there's different types of old man. Like, at least in comics, to me, old man is an insult. You could talk about old men like Jack Kirby and Stan Lee and Will Eisner, but like old men, that's old men from like they were old in like the 80s and the 90s, and then they passed away. Like old men now fucking suck. Like they're the fucking worst. So they got the classic old man thing of they're like, I don't like things that are new. I only like old things. All the old things were good. But then they want to hang around in something where they say everything is terrible. It's like, hey, we get it. Everything's terrible. Comics is terrible. Everything's terrible. Everything's woke. Everything lost $100 million. Why are you here? Old men used to build things out of wood and they would go fishing. Why are you here just bringing down, everything? So I've talked about the difference between YouTube and TikTok in regards to the comics spaces, people covering American comics. TikTok, overwhelmingly positive. So it's a bunch of people, mostly in their 20s. They just got into comics basically last year. Um, and it was because of a bunch of things. It was the Ultimate line at Marvel, it was the Absolute line at DC, it was Marvel Rivals, and I think it was Superman and Fantastic Four movies. It was just like this mix of like, hey, comics is kind of cool and fun. And this generation, they are freaking fantastic. First of all, they're very interesting. They they don't see comics as just a now thing or a then thing. They're not just about the comics that came out this week or just about back issues. They are kind of, I don't know, they're like history buffs of comics. They like the new stuff and they like the kitschy stuff from the 60s and they like everything in between, which is really interesting to me. It used to be you liked like whatever was happening when you first got into comics, and the things before were weird and old fashioned, and the things afterwards is like, I don't like anything new. I'm gonna do a live stream. Nothing new is good. And so when you see stuff like this happen, it's easy to do a broad brush of, well, just get rid of the old men because they're just nothing but problem and they hate everything. But then I watch these live streams. Not everyone's old. In fact, some of them look like they're in their like 20s or maybe early 30s. So it's like it's not about being old. It's about being old at heart. And if you think about comics just as a medium, not even into superheroes, I feel like comics is for the young at heart. And that's just it. I don't have much more to say. I'm watching Rob Liefeld. He's got a podcast. He does it on a bunch of different platforms. He just started on YouTube, and it's like twice a week. And he said his age in like the last one. He's going to take a break for San Diego Comic Con, he's like almost 60. I was actually kind of shocked when he said his age because, well, he's got a very odd look. I mean, it's the funniest thing when my friends see Rob Liefeld and they don't know him, like he's just a person. Like they're like, "What the fuck?" It's like, yeah, he looks very odd. It's always funny when people say like, "Oh, Rob's drawings, his faces look so weird." That's because he's looking at the mirror. Like he's just got a very weird, cartoony kind of elfin. Is it elfin or elven? Elf-like face. But he's super up, super enthusiastic. He can remember like which convenience store he bought an Avengers annual in 1979. And when you look up, I mean, I always kind of laugh when I look at Rob Liefeld now. It's like he looks like a lesbian. There's a point where it's actually good to start losing your hair because if you don't, you just start looking like a lesbian. But I always laugh when I like if he's on, the TV and he's just larger than life. It's like, whoa, that guy looks very strange. But he's got this great, very lively, young at heart attitude about not just comics, but it seems like life in general. And so again, it's very easy to broad brush. It's like, oh, just get rid of all the old men, stop catering to them because they hate everything. Well, they don't hate everything. They really like compendiums. You make any compendium of anything, some divorced dentist will give you $200 for it, and never crack it open ever, never. I've had friends like this. They're always, oh, did you know they collected the X-Men Blue and Gold? This thing is it's the most uncomfortable. You put it on your lap, it's like heavy. It's not comfortable. I don't know. Old men, they like stuff like that. They like podcasts where you say everything's terrible, and they like 80-pound compendiums that they will never crack open ever. But there's an entire world about just making that. But there's something about comics where it's like, I mean, if you think about it, literally, a lot of medium, they're kind of active and then passive. You get a movie ticket, you go to the theater, then you just sit, and it just kind of shows you the movie at its pace. But comics can just stop. At some point, you can just say, I'm just not going to turn the page. I don't care. There has to be something very exciting about, like, what's going to happen on the next page. I always found it very insulting in the DC comics, like in the 80s, where there would be like a couple pages of ads, and it would say, story continues after, 2 pages of ads. It's like, were there some dumbass kids who read like 5 pages of Booster Gold, and then there was an ad, and they go, it must be over. That's the end. No. You can feel the comic. You can feel there's more pages beyond the Saturday morning lineup with the, it wasn't called the Sporks. What were the underwater Smurfs called? Whatever those ones were called. One to grow on and stuff like that. But yeah, it's easy to broad brush, conservatives, old men, whatever. But really, it's just people who are old at heart. If you wake up and you just say, hey, something new, you're like, nothing new is good. Lost $100 million. It's just like, go away. Go away. Well, I mean, they're not leaving. But the good news is for every one YouTube channel that's just like a bunch of old men, it's like, meh. There are literally 500 TikTok channels of people in their 20s and 30s who are just excited about comics. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.